Good evening and welcome, everybody. Actually, it's the afternoon, but whatever. My name is Seven Sky Spelios, Seven Sky Music, and today we're doing another music review. This episode we're going to be reviewing, who is this? October Nights. This is their first show that they sent a video of to me, and I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm excited to review this. Looks like it's a fun group. It looks like we might have some rock, metal, something along those lines. I've only listened to the first 3 seconds about, just to do a sound check, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting myself into, but I'm sure it's going to be wonderful nonetheless. So, let's get started, shall we? Okay, first thoughts. I think this is just a trio, and that's really awesome. The amount of sound you're putting out is really ideal for a trio. I like how the camera's set up. It sounds like a really little thing, but I do like how the camera's set up for this video. I think it looks I think it's great that it captures everyone's expressions and stuff. That doesn't actually have to do with the music at all, but I did want to comment on that and say nice job. I really like the intro. I feel comfortable in this land of expectation that you set out for yourself. And I'm thinking about the group, October Nights. I wonder how their name came to be and what the backstory is on that. I'm not sure if they have a website. I know they have a Facebook page, which I will link to in the description below. And I'm still sick, of course. I'm always sick, never not sick. Anyway. The other thing I want to comment on is the rhythm is really tight, and that's something that needs to happen in this kind of genre, especially when you have just a few players. It's really easy to recognize when somebody's off from the group, and from what I can tell, at least for the first 10 or 15, 20 seconds, you guys are really tight, and that's really cool. I wonder how long you guys have been playing together. Feel free to give me some history in the comments below or something like that. Let's continue. Okay, nice. This is one thing that's definitely stood out to me at this point that I really like, that that's starting to introduce the chromaticism. That's really cool. Incorporating it into the main line, doubling it in the bass. One comment that I have right now is that I don't know if it's just how it was mixed at this show, but the singer kind of feels weak compared to all the music that's going on around him, and that's not really to put down the singer. It can be really hard to sing over a group, which is why I'm wondering if it's just the mix. But I would still say, like, push a bit more. Really make yourself heard, because and it could just be this recording as well, but I'm kind of finding it hard to hear the words. And I've always said I'm not really good at hearing words in the first place in these reviews, but it seems to be a little on the quiet side as far as things go. But the drums are strong, the bass is strong, and all this really forces the vocals to not only be strong, but be stronger than the other instruments, and that can be pretty difficult. There's only so much that our voice can do. Also notice that everyone has a microphone, so I'm wondering when the other singers are going to start singing. I'm not sure that we've gotten to the chorus yet, so I guess they're going to start singing when the chorus hits, but I think that vocal power could definitely be solved if everyone was singing together more frequently. Maybe not everyone, maybe a couple duets. I don't know. Let's just hear when the rest of the group sings for the chorus or for any other parts of the song. Let's continue. Yeah, the song kind of reminds me of like surf rock. It's not exactly surf rock, but it kind of has that chill vibe, which is, it's just kind of like something you drink and dance to, and I like that. That's the point. I think I'm wondering if there were more words, because when the singer stopped singing, the drummer and the bassist kind of looked over at the singer, and that line was still going on. I'm wondering if there were more words. It's just a thought. I'm not sure that there were or there necessarily should be. It just seemed like there could have been, but that'd be funny to know if that was the case or not. Aside from that, nothing much else to comment on at this point, so let's continue. Yeah, so like in that section, with the cymbals and the drum just being more active, it's really difficult to hear the singer. Yeah, I'm still not sure if it's, where the video camera is positioned, because obviously that position really does favor the bass and the drums a lot more than the vocals. But maybe that's also just something to keep in mind when you talk to the person who's running the sound system, is like, hey, make sure you can hear the vocals, because it's difficult for me to hear the vocals. And as I said before, the bass and drums are obviously going to be naturally overpowering, so you really got to counter that with the microphone. And I felt like that was the chorus, but I'm not sure. And if it was the chorus, I would have liked to hear some backup vocals. I think that would have been a cool place to do that. But one of the groups that had an influence on me, just because I was about 14 at the time, and I was indulging myself in new music, was the group from Southern Oregon, a reggae band, a three-piece called Indubious. And they were, I think, bass, drums, and keyboard, and all of them were singers as well. Well, one thing that really stood out to me was how much sound they could create with just three people. And one of the big things about that was they always had, not always, but most of the time, they had all of their singers getting to work. They were all playing their instruments, but they were all pitching in with the voice, and it really helped. It really helped fill out the landscape of the music. And yeah, it was a great decision on their part to have that much vocal involvement. And I think this group could use a lot of that. I don't obviously, this is my first time listening to the music and to the group, and I'm not sure if this song is an outlier. Normally the group is all singing always all the time. That's redundant. But from what I've heard so far, that's kind of what I would want to hear as a listener. As usual, I think it's a pretty good time to point out that all of my opinions are opinions, and they are my own. Not everyone may agree or support them. And at the end of the day, it's all what the band wants. It's all what the music needs and what you think the music needs. But yeah, consider looking up three-piece bands that have more vocal involvement and see if you like the way that sounds. If you like the way that they're using their other players. If you don't, that's totally fine. But to me, it kind of feels a little empty. I think one thing about having a band with not that many players is to make it seem like you do have more than the number of players that you actually have. You know what I mean? Like when I listen, like for the last time, I think, bringing up Indubious, when I listened to Indubious for the first few times, I never would have thought that it was just 3 people because of all the things that they were doing, because of all the activity going on. And so then when I found out, it was like, whoa. I think you should be aiming for people to say that about your group. Be like, wow, how many people do you have in your band? Oh, just 3, you know. What? 3 people? You know, that kind of thing. That would be... I think that would be really cool. Anyway, let's continue. Another thing I was going to say about this section is that right here, the singer has to drop down to hit those notes, and therefore their voice is even weaker. And I'm thinking, obviously for a studio recording where you can mix and balance everything really well, this wouldn't be an issue. But in a live performance setting, it can be problematic, kind of as I think it may be here. It's a great idea in concept, having the bass kind of stand out a little more and having the singer drop down to be with the bass. But when it's live, the voice is weak and the bass is strong and stands out. And I don't think that's necessarily the mix that you're going for. But again, for the last time, I think it's a lot of the camera work. But just be sure when you talk to the sound people that you're getting a great, healthy dose of vocals right in your face, especially for quiet, low sections like this. Okay, so that is intentional. Very interesting. To me, it seems like something should change up a little bit, or the words should continue. Because, to me, the music, that part of the music goes with the lyrics. And if the lyrics drop out, then it's just kind of a lone idea. I don't think it has enough support. I think that's why it kind of felt like it may have been a mistake before, to me, was because they're so interweaved. Now maybe if you had introduced that if you had introduced that by itself without the lyrics and then brought the lyrics in, maybe that would make my ear a little more forgiving for when there weren't lyrics, because the first time that would happen, my ear would be trained to have it without the lyrics. Does that make any sense? You know, it's like if I give you 2 instruments playing the same thing, and then the second time only one of them is playing that thing, it feels emptier. Whereas if I start with 1 instrument and then I have 2 instruments, then I have 1 instrument, it feels like we've gone somewhere. It feels like we started here and then we ascended and then we went down again. That kind of development is extremely important. The same kind of effect could be achieved though if you just wanted the guitar to do something for that last part of the what is it, pre-chorus, verse, something like that. You could have the guitar take over for a second, maybe play a little melody, or even play the exact same thing that you're playing but up an octave. Even that little change would be enough to kind of keep the momentum going. I think so. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that.
Alright, thank you. Thank all 4 of you. Yes, thank you.
Go. So how you doing, Ray?
That was funny. Thank all 4 of you. I didn't realize I was half a second from the end. Okay, so that was the chorus. Interesting. When, you know, I'm obviously not listening to this. I am listening to this as a full thing, but I'm also kind of dissecting it, and that kind of takes like selective listening. So I guess I didn't hear the full form. Okay, one thing before we move on is that ending wasn't very convincing, I don't think. It was, and I don't just mean the confidence in playing it or anything like that. I mean the actual like build up to the end. It didn't really feel like a build up to the end, and it felt very short too. The song as a whole, and I'm not sure if that's because I've been talking about it between like every 20 seconds or something like that, but it felt short to me as a first-time listener. It's difficult to hear what the guitar's doing at the end. What I like to look at is what each instrument is doing to contribute towards the end of the piece. So the guitar, I don't really know what they're doing, so I don't really... I think it's because I can't really hear them very well. The drums just have a bump, 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 bump crash, basically, which is okay, but I think it can be drawn out. It can get bigger. And the bass just kind of ends. It all just kind of ends. And that's kind of where I am shocked as a listener. It feels short to me, so if you want to end in the way that you did, you should probably take at least a few more bars to build up, you know, instead of... What happens here? Let's see. Right, so the drums at the end, after finishing the pattern, it's just bump, 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 crash. That doesn't really, in a live performance setting, or studio setting even, doesn't really convey to the listener that the end is coming. It just sounds like, it just kind of sounds like a fill, and we're about to go into something new. Yeah, it's just such a sudden ending. Take boom, 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 crash, and make it, as an example, try to make it boom, 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 crash. You know, even that would give a bit more indication to the listener that the end is coming. And, you know, maybe the bass going boom, 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 boom. You know, that kind of thing. That would give more indication that the end is coming. And the guitar just going, you know, something like that. There's all kinds of things that each instrument can do to let the listener know individually and collectively that the end is coming, and you should be prepared for that. As it stands now, I thought there was more music to be coming, and in a way that can be disappointing to a listener. It can be like, oh, new section, oh, it ended. Okay, clap, clap, clap. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to be trying to make these episodes a bit shorter to have a more condensed idea, and I think maybe I'll revisit some of the same groups that I've reviewed before to kind of, you know, more of a quantity over quality, if you will. Not have 30-minute long videos a week, have like 10 or 15-minute long videos. I don't know how long this video is going to turn out, but regardless, I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to support me, you can do so through the channel here. There's a Patreon link in the description below if you want to support my gaming or music. If you want to support the band, October Nights, their link will be in the description below. I will link to their Facebook page and probably that video that I was watching as well. You can watch the full thing. It's about 30 minutes long. And yeah, hope you're all having a fantastic evening. Afternoon. It's not evening. What am I talking about? And as always, have a good night, everyone. See you in the next music review.